fam, what's going on? I'm Shakib here, and this is the Note 9. Now I'm going to get straight to the main point with this review because I do not want to bombard you with information that you already know about this phone. So on that note, let's get started. First thing I want to mention is that there is a Bixby button, the annoying, forsaken Bixby button, and you cannot turn it off like you were able to on the S9 Plus, but you can download an app from the Play Store called BX button, and you can control how it behaves from there. The way I had mine done is it pulls up the Google Assistant. So you are welcome. So a new Note means a new pen. Besides smoother tracking, writing, and scrolling, it has Bluetooth capability. This is one of the most clever moves Samsung has ever pulled because with a Bluetooth S Pen, you can do so many things. Well, in the near future at least. The most compelling feature so far is being able to take pictures with a clickable button on the pen. Now this acts as a selfie remote for your front-facing camera and is so convenient. And don't worry, yes, you can control the rear lens as well with the remote. I never thought I'd see myself like this feature so much because I actually do rely on it and I use it a lot because it's so convenient, so simple, and it makes me feel like this pen has so much more value to it. Now other apps can be used with this pen as well. You can control your music, videos, and other medias, use it for slideshow presentations, and even control the shutter on your Snapchat app. Now I'm actually excited for the new things the S Pen will be able to do in the near future, like for example, make a cup of coffee for me through Google Home or Alexa, or even control my Philips Hue lights that I got going on behind me. I believe the source code will not be open for developers, so definitely be prepared for a whole lot of new features. One last thing, when you put the pen inside the phone with a 40-second charge, you'll be able to use it for 30 minutes. This is charged by what Samsung calls the supercapacitor. Basically, this thing is never gonna die. The build is a returning glass chassis with Gorilla Glass 5 and a massive 6.4-inch Super AMOLED display. I like the display, it's sharp, it's big, videos are nice to watch, and games feels much more fun to play in, especially if you're playing PUBG or even Fortnite. Now speaking of games or even high performance, Samsung included what they call a water carbon cooling system, which does reduce throttling under a high workload. Yes, I do believe it does a good job with the throttling because switching to the apps and using the interface, it still seems smooth, but the phone was still a little warm with the cooling system. Now I want to mention something else about this phone. Compared to the S9 Plus, it is wider, it is a little thicker, and it seems to be a little more on the heavier side. Now I'm so much not of a fan of a big phone being this heavy because I can be such a klutz sometimes and I get paranoid holding it because I think I may drop it even with the case or skin on, and it's just a liability. Now speaking of holding this phone, I feel like the bottom edges were a little less on the rounded side and it did kind of seem a little sharp. Compared to the S9 Plus, the S9 Plus was perfectly round and it was much more comfortable to hold. This one, it's a little less comfortable. Listen, I'm not saying that this phone is stabbing you, I'm just saying that the S9 Plus was much more comfortable to hold, and I don't know why Samsung took that route with the Note 9. So you have a returning headphone jack on the bottom of the phone, and thank you Samsung so much for that, and yes, it is necessary for me to bring that up in 2018. And also dual stereo speakers with Dolby Digital Atmos, but still do not like the fact that I can cover the entire bottom grille with one finger when I'm holding it on landscape mode, but still sounds pretty loud and good. So thank you again Samsung for that as well. So the Note 9 has a returning camera from the S9 Plus, and just like its little brother, it's a lit camera. So basically it's a telephoto lens and a dual aperture lens at f1.7 for low light pictures and f2.4 for daylight sharp pics, and pictures came out excellent. I love how sharp the edges are during daylight, but just like the S9 Plus, sometimes it's just a little too much exposure for my taste. But where it excels is at low light pictures. The aperture changes when it's darker, allowing the blades on the lens to open up more, allowing it to store much more light to give it a nice detailed shot. And 4K recording is back as usual, but my favorite is when it comes to recording in super slow-mo, which you can do up to 960 frames, which is pretty neat, pretty intoxicating, and pretty freaking awesome, man. Now it is a great returning S9 Plus camera, but it's smarter. The camera can detect and notify you if you blinked in the picture or if it even came out blurry. Now I really do like this fact because of my clumsy self. I can take a few blurry pictures here and there, so this was a pretty neat feature to have. So the Note 9 is at a whopping 4000 mAh battery, and it's big, right? Well, correct, it is big. But don't get too excited. Remember, it's a big phone and also it's a big display, so don't forget about the fact that it also has a pen. So it does need that large battery life because the specs has a lot of consumption on this phone. Okay, so don't get me wrong, it is a pretty good battery and definitely better than my S9 Plus hands down. But I was just expecting just a little more because for a 4000 milliamp hour battery, I was coming home with about 30%, sometimes 25. I was expecting around maybe close to 35 or 40%, but it's better than my S9 Plus because on the S9 Plus I was coming home with 15 or even less than that. Listen, it's a good battery and I just felt like that part of the phone got so overhyped and my expectations were so high, but it's, like I said again, it's a good battery. Storage on this phone is huge. So two variants, 128 gigabytes with 6 gigs of RAM and 512 gigabytes with 8 gigs of RAM, and you can expand storage up to 1 terabyte. That's mind blown. But you know what else is also mind-blowing? That $1,000 price point, and that's the starting price, and it goes up to $1,250 bucks. Okay, I don't know how I feel about that. I feel like it's way too expensive for myself and also the average consumer. I'm not liking Samsung's route because it feels like what Apple did with their iPhone 10. Next thing you know, the Galaxy S10 or the Galaxy X or whatever it's called is going to do the same thing. It's going to be around the same high price point, which is the problem here. It can scare away consumers. Listen, I'm not saying that the Note 9 is a bad phone. It's actually the most powerful and best phone that's out on the market now, but do I think it's the most bang for your buck? At $1,000 starting, it's a little too steep. If you want to save some money, stick with the S9 Plus. You get the same great camera, same great resolution, and a Snapdragon 845 chip. But if you want a larger battery, a bigger screen size, and a killer S Pen, the Note 9 is the phone for you. That's basically the main reason. This is the main reason. If you want the pen, if you need the pen, you can't live without the pen, get this phone right now. Buy it right now. This is what the Note is all about, and this is what the Note 9 makes it so great because of this pen. So that's all we have for this video. If you enjoyed it, please like, share, and finesse on that subscribe button, and also follow me on social media. So, fun fact number 34, a cell phone has 18 more times bacteria than a public bathroom. So do yourselves a favor and wash your hand after this video, you little nasty. Thanks for watching, I'm Zashak, stay tech strong, and deuces.